Hey there, I'm Linda Schiller Hanna, and you have found Inner Kid Ketos, segment 44. I am doing daily messages for a whole year on the feeling aspect of weight loss. The inner child often determines how we eat, how much we eat, when we eat, why we eat. So today's topic is about being brainwashed and brain dirted. Now, you may have sat at the dinner table in your childhood and told things like, if you don't eat your green beans, you're not getting up from the table, and sat there for hours alone with cold green beans and ended up hating green beans for the rest of your life. It happens. So if you get shamed around food or bullied around food or guilt tripped, Mom worked for hours making that cobbler. You better eat it. You're going to hurt her feelings. I don't like cobbler. Everybody likes cobbler. You know what I'm talking about. Most of us have experienced some kind of brain dirting in our lifetime. Whether it's you're fat or you're dumb or daddy says you ain't his child or 1,000 other dark, painful, cruel messages. Even little Linda. This is little Linda. You haven't met her yet. She's my alter ego, inner child. This is her best friend, Molly. Some people might say she shouldn't be best friends with Molly. I say go for it. You can be good friends for as long as you like. You're just as good as one another. Absolutely always. Go play. Have fun together. I love you both. You're always welcome in our home. And so there's little Linda holding on to her good friend, Molly. My husband had this on his car. In a world where you can be anything, be kind. In this day and age, that's a pretty good message. Be kind. When I was in college, in sociology class, the teacher says to know all is to forgive all. We certainly can think back into our own story. I know I did this thing, or I ate that thing, or I messed up that thing. But if anybody really knew how hard this was, or how afraid I was, or how I was brain dirted about this in the past, they'd understand why I dropped this ball, or couldn't pull it together, or was terrified, or couldn't show up, or ran screaming into the wilderness. So I say, instead of brainwashed, a lot of us were brain dirted. It's important to notice, hey, I was brain dirted, and I can take responsibility from this day forward to change that message. I used to say, I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy. And my sister stopped me. She says, you keep saying that you will go crazy, Linda. I'm going sane. I've got my act together. I'm a functional, valuable human being. It's particularly good to look in the mirror when you do this. Louise Hay, who's a wonderful spiritual counselor, was a minister, has a lot of books and information on self-esteem, and she often talks about mirror work. So I invite you to do some mirror work. Look in the mirror and say, hey, little Linda, I love you. Hey, little Molly, I love you. You're a beautiful child of God. Sometimes just shifting the language can make such a difference. The first sentence in the New Testament is, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. Whenever the name of God is I am, so if I say I am dumb, I am creating dumb. I've done thousands of affirmations over the years. I'm thin and beautiful and eat only what I need. I'm abundant and joyful and have plenty to share. I go to meet my good. God is present and active in this situation. One of my favorite authors is Florence Scovill Shinn. You look her up, she's got many books. One is called The Game of Life and How to Play It. Another is The Secret Door to Success. I grew up, I've told you before, in kind of an impoverished family. I am not that person anymore. I've had much abundance come, and mostly from reading Florence Scovill Shinn's book, The Secret Door to Success. You can also get it in a compendium of all 4 of her books in one unit, which is a good bargain. I kept rereading Shinn's book over and over until I started having the abundance I wanted. I kept saying, well, what else am I not doing to the letter of the law? What else am I not doing? I need to share more. She talks about tithing, giving 10% of what you bring in and giving it back out, being in the flow, trusting the universe. If I've spent too much money on food that made me too fat, maybe I need to spend money on food for people who are starving. You can look up kiva.org, Kiva.org. It's a nonprofit. They're online. And they have literally thousands of people around the world in every country. And they each tell their story. Women who are trying to feed their children, refugees, people who have little farms, little businesses, and you loan $25 and they pay it back, and then you can reloan it. I have loaned, I think, over 200 different loans over the last few years. And the money comes back and I pay it again. And every time I try to put in a little more and a little more, so there's always more and more loaning. I'm not saying I've spent thousands by any means, but I think I said I'm in the 98th percentile of donating to Kiva. So you might look that up, kiva.org. Why do I do it? Because I read Florence Scovill Shinn's book, The Secret Door to Success, and she talks about sharing. Share your food, share your abundance, share your courage, share your positive attitude, share your smile. Just as you're driving down the street, instead of swearing at every other driver, oh, that jerk, oh, that dumb person, oh, he shouldn't have done that, bless them. Have a beautiful day. Have courage. Share love with your children. You're a beautiful child of God. You start putting out positive energy, positive energy will come back to you, I promise. So this today is specifically about stopping to brain dirt ourselves and wash ourselves with a positive vibration. I am thin and beautiful and eat only when I need. It is easy for me to live a healthy lifestyle. I love to exercise. I love people and I'm happy to go out and be with them. I want to give my best to the world. God is my source and I always have enough. Sometimes we've overeaten out of fear of not enough. I once had a friend that was in OA, and he said every time he goes out for a meal, sits down to a meal, he says, "Dear God, let this be enough. Let this be enough." It's not just feeding my body, it's feeding my emotions. Today's opportunity and hope for you is that you can love yourself enough for real, without the negative garbage coming in, that you don't have to overeat to stuff the shame, sadness, and grief that comes up from being mean to yourself or still thinking about meanness that has been done to you. That's all I got for today. Hope to see you tomorrow at Inner Kid Keto. And thanks for coming back. And know I love you and that you matter and that God is present and active in this situation, every situation. Take care.